It has been a long time coming and we are all excited for this book, Pinocchio, The Making of a Disney Epic. And boy, is this book epic. Hey guys, it's Morgan with the Rotoscopers and I'm here today bringing you a book review. I am so excited for this book. Like I mentioned before, it's been a long time coming. If you're familiar with any of J.B. Kaufman's work, then you know what is in store in this book. Amazingness. Basically amazingness. So I have two other books of his. He wrote two books on the making of Snow White. One is more of an art book and it's predominantly art, but there's a little history. And the other one, the fairest one of all, that one is predominantly history with art sprinkled in. If you're interested in seeing my reviews of both of those books, then I will link them below, and also at the end of this video you can just click along. Like I mentioned, so this book is actually more like the fairest one of all. It's predominantly history with art. Now that's not to say there's not art in this book. Each page is loaded with character models, sketches, background designs, paintings, rough animation, final animation, cells. It's beautiful. And I am so excited that this is now encapsulated for us to own. Yay! So the book basically takes us through the journey of the making of Walt Disney's Pinocchio. So at the very beginning, we are introduced to the Pinocchio story and the different iterations that has seen, you know, unlike typical fairy tales, which we see with Snow White and then also Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella. Those are fairy tales that, you know, evolved over time. But Pinocchio was a book, and so from the very beginning, it's very established, you know, what its origins were, what the character was. There may be like some movies that tinkered with some things here and there, but for the most part, Pinocchio has remained the same. So it goes into that. It breaks down the story, the characters. If you have not read Pinocchio, it is insane. It is jam-packed with stories and creatures and legends and all sorts of stuff. The main elements of that Disney took and put it in his version. So then we begin to see in this book, he talks about, you know, how Disney always wanted to do this story. He thought it was interesting. So then we go into developing the character. What stories from the original story and novel do we want to use? The character of Pinocchio himself and his personality in the book, he's very mean and no one likes to be around him, and so they tried to do that for a while, and then we read that no, it wasn't working, so they made him a little softer around the edges, a little bit more naive. So this book gives us stories like that, behind the scenes, making of why characters changed, why they ended up this way, why Jiminy Cricket, why did we finally give him a name? Because there was a cricket in the original novel, but he didn't have a name. Why did we expand his role? And so they just developed that. We keep going. There's just so many stories about each character, the animators that were involved, Walt Disney himself, the directors. My favorite bonus feature of Blu-rays and DVDs are the making of, and this is the ultimate making of. I mean, it even has it in the name, the making of a Disney epic. So you are going to get all the behind the scenes details. Then in the book we also do get to see the release, how it was received. I mean, this wasn't as widely received and didn't make as much money as Snow White per se. How that affected Walt Disney did very much affect him, you know, than the legacy of this film. Hello! So obviously this is a different day, but as I was editing this video I realized I forgot my favorite thing about this entire book, and this is called Appendix A. And now you're like, what? Appendix? Isn't that boring stuff? So Appendix A is the production credits, and it attempts to make the most complete list of production credits scene by scene. So for example, sequence 1-1. It tells you the name of it, which is Geppetto Carves Marionette. Then it tells you who the director was for that scene, who did the layout. Then it goes to every character or anything that is involved in that scene, what animator did what character, you know, what poses, whatnot, the effects people who worked on that scene, and then it goes to sequence 1-2. It is the whole entire movie. So let's say you're an animator and you want to look at all Mark Davis scenes in the movie. You go here and you read through and you find all of his scenes. Then you can go and watch the movie and explore that a little more. I think this is just such a resource and way to go for J.B. Kaufman, because this was obviously a lot of work, and I'm sure there were production notes that they were able to use for reference, but still, it's impressive. It is wonderful, wonderful. The day I got this in the mail, I was just like, yes, finally it's here, because it'd been delayed and delayed and delayed. And if J.B. Kaufman could do a book like this for every single, you know, Disney film, I would die happy. I would love it. I would love him to do Lady and the Tramp next. I would love to see Peter Pan be one of the ones that he does, just because that is a Disney, really a Disney classic. Still to this day, those characters are beloved. Tinkerbell is almost the unofficial mascot of Disney and Disney World, Disneyland, and that just has so much history behind that film. I would love to see him do that next. But in the meantime, this is the newest one. I'm giving this book 5 stars, hands down. It's a lot of text. Obviously, I mean, look how big this book is. It's gonna keep you busy for a while. If you're an animator or an artist, there is so much in here that will help you develop your craft, and you can explore, you know, how was this character designed and whatnot. This book definitely deserves a place on anyone's animation collection. I am going to prominently display it right here. Ah, doesn't it look amazing? I think it does, and it stands out. Look at that red, it's great. Okay guys, that's all I have for you. Let me know in the comments what you think of this book, Pinocchio, The Making of the Disney Epic. If you have it, what is your favorite part? And if you don't have it, what are you most looking forward to in this book? Alright guys, that is all I have for you. Until next time, I'm Morgan, and this is the Rotoscopers YouTube.